back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to a beach read recommendation video. I'm very excited to be sitting down and sharing this video with you guys because it is a collaboration video with a bunch of other amazing booktubers. So there are 11 other creators today that are sitting down to talk about their favorite beach read recommendations, and I cannot wait to binge every single video and get some wonderful summer recommendations for myself. But today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite summer and beach read recommendations that hopefully will give you some motivation to pick up during the next couple months. But before we get into that, let's talk about the other collaborators. So we have Happily Ever April, Beck X Reads, Being Daphne, Honest Fiction, Kristen Craig's Books, A Book Circus, Raven-Haired Reader, Reagan's Reads, Sam Reads a Little, Novel Life, and then of course, but definitely not least, is the person that brought us all together today, and that is Hannah from Hannah Blackwell Books. Thank you so much to Hannah for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm so grateful, and I'm very excited to jump into this video with you guys. Okay, I have a couple stacks in front of me that I've separated for different reasons, but I feel like they all fit the beach read vibes for different reasons. So we'll get into them as we continue on with this video, but let's go ahead and start with the novellas, because I feel like for me, if I'm sitting down at the beach, I want something quick, I want something easy, I want something fun, and there's just nothing better than a good novella. So I first want to talk about Not So Lucky by Trelina Pucci. This one takes place on 4th of July in Nevada. Very hot, very summery, definitely. This is not set at a beach, but I just feel like the hot summer vibes are definitely thriving in this story, and it definitely feels like something that I could read at the beach. This one is a polyamorous accidental marriage that turns into more. That was just so much fun. The books in the series are fun. They are fast-paced. This author writes very good spice. So if you're looking for just a fun, fast-paced, kind of like silly hijinks story, I feel like this is definitely a really good one. Up next, I want to talk about Salt in the Wound by Sierra Simone. This is a novella that took me by surprise. This is another like marriage of convenience, or like arranged marriage situation between a much older man and this girl who wants to be a nun, but before then she is kind of conscripted into this marriage by her teacher to help bring down this very large mafia man, and in that time she ends up falling for her husband with every intention of betrayal. But it definitely takes some twists and turns, and this is the first book in a series. It's like a prequel novella, and it was definitely just so much fun and so dark. It was darker than I was expecting, but it was just a lot of fun, and I feel like if you need a little push to get into Sierra Simone's writing, or if you want something quick and easy to pick up for a beach read, this one is perfect. Then we have That One Night by Emily Rath. I feel like it's a hockey romance, so it's not screaming summer or beach read, but it's just something about a fun, sexy, hot novella that just does something for my summer reading tendencies. I mean, I read short novellas, romances all year round, but something about novellas during the summer, especially at the beach, it just falls into the right category. This one is like a one-night stand situation between the characters. Again, it's the first book in a series, so it's like a prequel novella that kind of gives a little bit more backstory on one of the couples in the story. This is a why choose relationship, so it doesn't give you a lot of detail about the other men that are involved in her full-length novel, but it is a very fun and fast-paced novella. Then we have Caution and Love by Kay Rodriguez. Again, another fun, fast-paced novella that has a little bit more depth and harder topics in it. So if you are interested in this one, I would check the triggers. But overall, it's a fun gym cinnamon roll romance between two characters that don't really feel like they deserve to be together or deserve to find love, but find it in each other anyways. And I just really love this story. I'm excited that I was able to read this one, and I actually just picked up the new cover of this book, and it's so freaking cute. So if you haven't already picked this one up, I definitely recommend it. Okay, and the last novella I want to talk about is Not My Type by Evie Mitchell, the first book in the All Access series. These are novellas that all take place in the same world. They are interconnected standalones, and they all have representation. Again, if you're looking for a good shorter book to pick up during a beach experience, this is definitely a good one. It's spicy, it's sexy, it is definitely very interesting. It has a topic of like BDSM that I'd never have read about before, which is shibari. I think that's how I said that right. I think so. But I really liked the exploration of that in the story, as well as like kinks and consent, and how to approach that with a person with a disability, which I thought was really interesting to read about as well. So if you're looking for a good book with representation, this is definitely another fantastic book. Let's keep the short train going. I feel like if you're going to pick up something short and easy, it's always fun to pick up a graphic novel. So I'm going to recommend two that always give me summer vibes whenever I pick them up, and I think would be perfect to read on the beach. The first one being none other than Heartstopper. Of course, I feel like everyone recommends this one, but it's just because it is so good, and I'm so glad that the series is not yet completed. Alice Oseman just came out with book 5, or volume 5 in the series, and volume 6 will be the last one, but I love the series so much. It's so cute, it's so sweet, it's so wholesome. It's just one of those things that if you're looking to put a smile on your face and you want something quick and easy, this is definitely a fantastic one. Now, this next graphic novel I'm going to recommend is one that I don't have the highest regards for, but I feel like most people that read it really enjoy it. I personally think this story is too slow burn, but that's just for my own personal tastes, and that is the Lore Olympus series by Rachel Smith. The good thing about this one in particular is you can still read it for free on Webtoons, so if you didn't want to take this big honking graphic novel with you to the beach, you could always bring it on your phone and read it there and still get the access to the story. But if you did want to read them in bind-up volume, then you can. But I definitely feel like this is a great one to read at really any time of the year. But if you're looking for something light and easy that has some, emotional depth to it, but really is just a fun story, this is definitely a good one to pick up. All right, let's talk about books that inherently scream summer to me, and because they scream summer, I think, okay, I can read these at the beach. Some of these are a little thicker, but for me, I guess when I think beach read, I just think short, easy. But the thing that I find the most important about a beach read is that it needs to be compelling enough for me to want to read it in one sitting while being completely distracted by the things around me. So I feel like all of these books definitely hit the nail on the head with that. The first one I want to talk about is one that I cannot stop recommending because I think the series is still fantastic, and that is Flawless by Elsie Silver, the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. This is a fantastic series all in all, but Flawless is definitely a great one. I feel like she really set the tone in this series and made me want to continue and learn more about these side characters and fall more in love with the small town antics of the series. And overall, I just really, really freaking love this author's writing. This one follows Rhett and Summer, and Rhett ends up, kind of making his career not in the best state. He does something that makes him lose his sponsors, and it just makes his appearance in the media not look so great. So Summer becomes his babysitter, his liaison, however you want to call it, to kind of keep him in line and make sure that he is sticking to the terms in which they have agreed upon in order to keep his career on track, and the two of them end up falling in love. It's a great summer romance specifically, but I just feel like this one would be so much fun to read at the beach. Then I want to talk about a YA. I feel like I don't recommend YA as much, but I feel like if anyone is going to do it, it's of course going to be Ali Hazelwood. And Check and Mate was such a fantastic YA story. This one also takes place right after high school, right after graduation, so it leans a little bit more into new adult, and it's right into that stage of your life where you don't really know your next steps, which usually happens in summer. So I feel like this is a perfect book to read during that time. It's also relatively short, so it's a nice, fun, easy YA story. But this one follows two characters who really love the game of chess, and they are rivals in a sense, because one is the best and she always wanted to be the best, but the main character has kind of given up chess in her life, and he ends up bringing it back into her life, and they fall in love from there. It's a really great YA new adult story. If you're looking for something to kind of bridge the gap, this is a great one. The next two absolutely scream summer to me, so I have to talk about them. The first one being Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Obviously, summer's in the title. They're at a lake. This is definitely a perfect book to pick up at the beach. This one definitely falls under the category of what I would call more women's fiction romance, but definitely still romance. There's steam, there's spice, there's romantic aspects, but it deals with a lot of harder topics that are more everyday life experiences rather than trauma per se. Not saying this doesn't deal with trauma, because it really does, but I feel like it's just different. It reminds me a lot of Emily Henry's writing, which again, we'll get to her in just a second, but I just feel like Abby Jimenez does something really special and really beautiful with her writing that makes me so compelled to continue to read every single time. Always pulls at my heartstrings, but leaves me feeling so warm and heartfelt and absolutely utterly in love with every single one of her characters. But this one follows two characters that have a curse per se. Every person that they date ends up breaking up with them, only to find their true love right after them. And obviously it's a weird experience for the two of them to go through, so they decide to fake date each other in order to break up so that they can end up canceling each other's curses out and find their true love. But obviously their true love is each other. So I love this book so much. It was such a fun read. Very deep and very emotional, but also very, very good. I forgot I have a few more that I wanted to talk about in this category that I don't own, so I'm going to talk about those really quickly. The first one being Done and Dusted. This one kind of falls under the same category as Flawless for me. It just feels like a very fun, summery pickup that I would love to have read at the beach if I had the opportunity to do so. It's another cowboy romance, small town, another really fast-paced book. The audiobook was so quick, and I feel like if you're just looking for a light, easy read, it's really great. It's not a new favorite for me by any means, but it's something that I always think about when recommending romance books, because it's just so easy and so fun to pick up. Then, of course, let's talk about Emily Henry. I don't have any of her books with me currently, but I do love Emily Henry's books. I've read every single one that she has published up until her newest release, and I just love her books so much. So I would love to talk about Beach Read, which I feel like is quintessential. It kind of screams this video a beach read. This one definitely does deal with some harder topics and touches on some really tough things to read about, but overall it is a fun beach read with a really swoony romance at the center, following two writers. And then we have Happy Place, which again happens I think in the summer at like their summer house during a summer vacation. So it feels very apt to recommend that one. And that one is like a fake dating, but with a couple who used to be together and are pretending to still be together to kind of help this friendship that they have as they are spending their last summer on this vacation before they sell the house. So again, I feel like this one is very apt for the theme of the video, and it's a book that I really, really love. And the last book in this category before I move on to books that I just felt like I needed to pull for this video, and that is The Wrong Mr. Right by Stephanie Archer. I mean, you can't tell me this doesn't scream a beach read. We have surfing, which obviously happens at the beach, and I just feel like this is the perfect book for this category. These two characters spend a lot of time surfing, and the male main character teaches the main female character to surf, and it's a story about these two characters that just have such intense, wonderful, palpable chemistry on page that you just can't help but root for them. I really love this story. I laughed out loud, I cried, I smiled, I had a great time, and it's a perfect, relatively small book to read on the beach. All right, the last stack I'm going to run through kind of rapid fire. I don't know if these books necessarily scream beach reads. However, when I was pulling books for this video, they kind of popped out at me like, pick me. So I did. Here we are. So I'm going to quickly run through them. I'm not going to give too much synopsis, but if you're looking for extra recommendations and you didn't want to go for the ones I already recommended, these ones could probably, maybe, possibly fit the bill. First one we have is Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese, the first book in the Bergman Brothers series. I don't know, something about a sports romance just does it for me when it comes to summer beach reads. Again, this one is relatively short. This is the special edition, so it looks a little chunkier than it is, but it is a relatively short read with some really great representation and a very fantastic romance at the center. I feel like if I was going to wear a Flock t-shirt, I had to talk about Flock by Kate Stewart, the first book in the Ravenhood series. I feel like this is a great one to read. I believe it actually the first book takes place in summer, so this is the perfect one to pick up. Mind you, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as like the best beach read because it is different than all the other books that I'm going to recommend today, but I feel like it was just going to be a miss for me to not recommend it because I personally feel like this is one of those books that once you pick it up, you can't put it down because it's just so compelling, and like I said before, that's what I'm looking for when I'm reading a beach read. Up next, we have Steel King by Daphne Perry. This is a small town romantic suspense. And again, it's short, it's fast paced, it's a motorcycle club, darker romance, which I would usually recommend for fall, but I just feel like because this one was so fast paced and fun that I think it would be a perfect book to read on the beach. Let's talk about a series and then we'll talk about our last two books. This is what I'm calling a series because these two books follow the same two characters, the same couple, but this is the fourth and fifth book in an interconnected standalone series, and that is Surrender and Dominate by Amy Dawes. Again, sports romance, but these ones also have some more tough topics that are discussed throughout it, as well as a single parent trope, and overall I just really love the story so much. This was my favorite books of 2021, I believe, and I still think about them all the time. The urge to reread them comes up often, and again, they are short, they are fast-paced, the audiobooks are quick, and this is definitely something that I could see myself picking up on a reread at the beach. And finally, let's talk about my last recommendation. I couldn't figure out if this was a spring read for me or a summer read for me, but the colors for me yell summer, so I'm going to take it as a beach read, and that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one is a time-traveling kind of magical realism romance story that I just fell in love with. The writing is impeccable, the storytelling is impeccable, the relationship, chef's kiss, and I just really loved how Ashley Poston wrote this story. Again, I feel like she is kind of on the same lines as Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry that write romances that are really centered around real life problems and finding ways to work through a relationship when those real life problems are very much in the forefront of like what you're going through at the time. So overall, really love the story. It was a 5-star read. It was one that I put off for so long, but I'm so glad that I read it. And again, it's quick, it's easy, and I feel like it would be a perfect beach read. Alrighty friends, that is everything. That is all the beach reads that I wanted to recommend here today. Let me know if you read any of the books that I talked about and what you thought of them. Also, feel free to recommend me your favorite beach read. What is something that you think is the perfect beach read that you feel like everyone should pick up during the next couple of months? If you guys aren't already subscribed to everyone already collaborating in this video, please go show them some love. I will leave everybody linked in the description box below. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you made it to the end and you don't know anything else to comment, leave your favorite beach emoji. That being said, that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video.